in reference to Rio Ferdinand's reaction last year when we signed Cristiano Ronaldo from Juventus. Now, why am I skinning off and showing off my teeth? It's because, as Christians would say, it's a high day in Zion. You know, where them done baptize someone and they join the church. Oh, it's a high day in Zion. Give God the praise, give God the glory. Amen, church. Someone has joined the church. It's a high day in Zion. We give God the praise for another member joining the church. Today is a good day for Manchester United fans. I mean, it's not excellent by the book, but it's something to be happy about. First off, we had a game this morning. Well, at least where I'm from. That's why I didn't watch it, because I was sleeping at the time. I wanted to watch a game, but it was just too early. It started about 6 a.m. I ain't getting up 6 a.m. to watch no preseason match. But we played against Melbourne Victory. And the funny thing was that Nani signed for Melbourne Victory. And Manchester United gave a good gesture to Luis Nani, you know, for his time at Manchester United. So, although Nani is no legend in my book, he's still one of the greatest wide men to play for Manchester United in the 21st century. Is me. Lack of consistency. He wasn't very consistent, but to finish on a good note, he got a good gesture from Manchester United. He got a t-shirt, but even more than that was a performance by Manchester United. Again, I didn't watch the match, but I saw an excerpt in terms of highlights of the match. Martial was on the score sheet again. We actually conceded first, and this is where Maguire's marking and positioning is called into question. How is it that you're a slow defender going to give space to your opposition to score? You know that you're not fast. It's me, have the legs of a turtle. Why are you giving that man the space to score? No, this is the thing. If Manchester United is going to play a high line, Victor Lindelof and definitely Harry Maguire cannot be started. Is either you start Eric Bailly, that is our fastest centre back, along with Rafael Varane, or you start Eric Bailly with Victor Lindelof. You cannot have two steady, dormant, stuck on each other feet defenders. Oh, this is dark. Defenders starting, because if you're playing that high line, you're giving space up for the opposition to score. You cannot be doing that. And that was Manchester United. That led to Manchester United conceding in the first 4 minutes, and that was due to Harry Maguire's mistake. Now, of course, given that we're the better team on paper, Manchester United turned things over in their favour, and they got 4 goals. So you could say that Manchester United beat Melbourne Victory, but as how I see it, Manchester United should be named Manchester United Victory that beat Melbourne defeat. But it was a good outing. You know, Scott McTominay got a deflected goal. A couple names to shout out were 2 youngsters that came on and they had a good game. The first name was Charlie Savage. I believe he's a child of Robbie Savage. And Zidane Iqbal, I believe that's his name. So those 2 came on and they had a very good game. Now, as you notice, I'm walking, I'm trying something new. I'm seeing that this is summer. My brother have to get some sunlight at the end of the day, right? So he's gonna keep his body intact. So when he makes contact with the ladies, you know, he's in a good shape and things. So, and just for health reasons as well. So yeah, I'm trying something new. But going back to the highlights of Manchester United, yeah, Manchester United roll over Melbourne City by 4 goals, and the 2 youngsters that came on, they did very well. Again, I didn't watch the match, but considering the highlights I saw, you could say that they had a very good game, which I'm very proud of. One of them was an own goal. It was by one of the youngsters that got the ball into the box, and the defender of Melbourne Victory, Melbourne Defeat. He couldn't sort his feet out, and they conceded. So yeah, that led to their demise at the end of the day. So yeah, Manchester United rolled over Melbourne Victory. Another thing, Manchester United has completed the signing of Christian Eriksen. It was a long-awaiting signing. Here's the thing, though. This is a funny thing because Christian Eriksen, given his adverse situation last year to kickstart the Euros last year, against, I can't remember who it was against, but he had a cardiac arrest, and persons believe that his career should end for the betterment for his health and for the betterment of his life. So he may not compete at a top tier level again, given his adverse situation last year. But God saw that. God bless, Christian Eriksen. So God saw that Christian Eriksen deserved a second chance at life, and he was given a second chance. And now he's playing football. He played for Brentford City on a loan for half a season, and now he's signed for Manchester United. Now, here's the funny thing regarding Christian Eriksen and him starting, and in regards to other midfielders for Manchester United. On paper, Christian Eriksen is our best midfielder. Period. Enough story. There's no contest to that. On paper, Christian Eriksen is our best midfielder. Seeing that Paul Pogba has left Manchester United, he's toe-to-toe our best midfielder in our squad. Now, with that being said, it's funny because this may sound like a contradiction or an oxymoronic statement, but listen to this. Given that he's our best midfielder, he should not be starting as other midfielders. He should not be starting as much games as the other midfielders in our squad, given the formation. Because, as I've mentioned, and you guys know this, given his cardiac arrest last year, it would make sense to be cautious with this guy's health. It would make sense to be cautious with his health. Yes, he can start games, but to finish them, I don't think that's a good. No, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I could be wrong, but I'm just giving you my output on the input of Christian Eriksen and his health. He should not be he can be starting, but he should not be completing most of the games that he started, given his adverse situation last year. So let us evaluate the midfielders in our Manchester United squad amidst Frenkie de Jong's arrival, because it seems as though Frenkie de Jong has been linked to Chelsea as well. So it seems as though Frenkie de Jong has a few options on his plate. So we'll see how that works out for Christian Eriksen. Not Christian Eriksen, but for Frenkie de Jong. Another thing I like about Christian Eriksen is that he's a world-class set piece taker. He's a world-class set piece taker, and he can create chances. What Bruno Fernandes lacks as a number 10, Christian Eriksen is able to compensate for that. He has it in his lock. He's been having that since his younger years at Ajax. Remember now, Christian Eriksen used to play for Ajax. When he was at Ajax, Christian Eriksen was one of the best young talents on the planet. I see this brother in a few videos just passing players. No, he wasn't the most pacey of players, Christian Eriksen, when he was at Ajax, but he was a very techy, creative midfielder. Very number 10-esque. And that became his craft as he got older, and he became more of a certified number 10. Now, going back to what I was saying just a while ago, Christian Eriksen, along with Bruno Fernandes, Donny van de Beek, Scott McTominay and Fred, I believe Christian Eriksen can start as an 8, but that's not the ideal for Christian Eriksen. That's not the ideal for Christian Eriksen. Christian Eriksen should be starting as a number 10. As a number 10. But again, like I said, he should not be starting every game, and if he does start, he should not be complete in most of those games given his health. Now, so Frankie de Jong, man, I'm kind of on a tangent, but Frankie de Jong is still linked to Manchester United. Like I mentioned, seeing that Paul Pogba has left Manchester United, it would make common sense. I've mentioned this before. He should be replaced with 3 quality midfielders. You can replace one Paul Pogba with 1 quality midfielder. Like I told you guys, Paul Pogba is not a dime a dozen. This brother is a 1 in a million type of midfielder. He has the jocks of all trade of a world-class midfield. Maybe he doesn't apply himself all the time, but the talent is definitely there. Paul Pogba, the talent is definitely there. Is me. So to replace Paul Pogba with 1 good midfield, that's not going to cut the cake for Manchester. That's not going to cut it. That's not going to cut it. And seeing that Fulham has signed Andres Pereira. We all know that Andres Pereira. I remember when I watched Andres Pereira's first official game for Manchester United in fall of 2015. And he took a free kick and he scored at Old Trafford. I'm saying, okay, this young guy is going to make the gravy for Manchester United in years to come. Years has passed and he hasn't made the cut for Manchester United. So it's a good thing that we have cut him loose from Manchester United. Because again, Andres Pereira is not good enough for Manchester United. He's just not. And that's why he was sold to Fulham. So it's good that we're seeing a sign of assertiveness from Erik Ten Hag. Releasing players that needs to be released, selling players that needs to be sold, moving on, having a plan in mind, and following that plan. He has a positive mindset. Another thing I should mention, I'm all over the place, I know that, but another thing I should mention was Erik Ten Hag's post press conference. And someone asked him about Anthony Martial. One, I like his response. And the person, I think it was a woman that was asking him, Anthony Martial hasn't been the same Anthony Martial of old since, 2 seasons ago. And he was like, and everything is like, yes. And I like that response. He knew that Anthony Martial has not cut the cake for Manchester United and he has not been a good player. So when he said yes, it's not like he's naive to the fact that Anthony Martial has not been performing. He knew that Anthony Martial has not been performing. And he was asked, seeing that he scored 2 goals in his first 2 preseason games, do you think that's going to set the precedence for him continuing his goal scoring? And he's like, with the right motivation, if Martial applies himself, he can be good for Manchester United. And I agree wholeheartedly. See, Anthony Martial, man, is like a Paul Pogba, but he's not as extroverted as Paul Pogba. Anthony Martial is an introvert, and some introverts, they need a push to apply themselves. They are not. Some introverts are naturally confident, but that's not the majority of introverts. As we know, Martial is a confidence player, which means that there are times where it's just not his day and he's going to have a stinker. So, with the right motivation, to use Erik Ten Hag's words, he's going to apply himself and he's going to get them goals. Some person may say, well, Martial is lazy and he's not going to get them goals because, he doesn't press. Bro, look at the goal he scored against Liverpool. Now, I'm not saying that's an ultimate goal of the decade, but the fact that he pressed showed that everything Hag is having his intent on the player Martial. He wants to press from the front, and that's why he got a goal. So you guys talking about the late? Hey, I'll raise my hand in guilt. I'll make sure I show my. I raise my hand in guilt. I've said that Martial is lazy in times past, because I believe that he has been lazy. But that doesn't mean that's going to be the destiny of his playing career. That doesn't mean he's going to stay like that. You know, he's going to make a change, Martial. And I believe that under the leadership, under the management of Erik Ten Hag at Manchester United, he's going to make that change, Martial, in his career. No, I believe he's going to make progress in his first season at Manchester United with Erik Ten Hag there. You know, again, with the right motivation, if he applies himself, Anthony Martial is going to be quite a player for Manchester United. I believe that wholeheartedly. Yeah, man. So going back to Christian Eriksen. Yeah, Christian Eriksen has signed for Manchester United, man. Now, the thing is that, and I'm not explaining myself properly, I guess because of high adrenaline and high enthusiasm and excitement, but Christian Eriksen, given that he's our best player on paper and in talent as well, something I should have mentioned, in talent as well, Christian Eriksen is our best player in terms of talent, in terms of the midfield. He's our best midfielder, but although he's our best midfielder, he should not be starting as much, or he should not be finishing the games, given his situation. No, I'm no physio, but I'm just looking out for the young fellow. Yes, he's young. He may be kind of getting an age in terms of the football world, but in the real world, he's still young. So we have to look out for a boy. He's now a Manchester United player. You know, I think we should have signed him since probably 2018 when we were linked to Milankovic-Savic from Lazio. I think we should have signed him in 2018. I believe that was his prime time, Christian Eriksen, when he was at Spurs. But hey, man, he's a midfielder, man, and he's one of those midfielders that has a longevity, which may sound funny because he had a cardiac arrest last year, but still, there are a lot of technically gifted midfielders that don't need pace or a strength of speed to beat a player or to be considered a great midfielder. It's just that they have such an awareness, they have a football brain that can basically change the play, and they can just screen the field easily, and they can play the pass easily, and even dribble past players without pace. Like recall me. Yes, me. Recall me don't need pace to be players or to be an effective midfielder. See, Christian Eriksen, although he's a bit, some may call him old, but he can still create passes and even break the lines with passes. When he's playing as a number 10, he doesn't need like 10 passes to make one good pass. He doesn't need that. He's a good enough player, Christian Eriksen. And with this player, man, at Manchester, I'm happy, man. I'm happy that he's here. You know, it's a start. I believe we still need Frankie de Jong. Don't get it twisted, no. We still need Frankie de Jong at Manchester United. We still need Frankie de Jong at Manchester United. Don't you ever get it twisted, though. We still need Frankie de Jong at Manchester United. We need a box-to-box midfielder. Christian Eriksen is a number 10. It's good to have a number 10 that will spend his time behind the number 9 and create chances and breaking the lines of the opposition defense. It's good that we have a number 10, but we still need a number 8 in the player of Frankie de Jong. With Donny van de Beek, with Fred, Scott McTominay, man, put that Scottish brother on the bench, man. If you're not starting midfield for your country, how the hell do you expect to be started as a midfield for Manchester United? That don't even make no sense, man. So, it would make sense. Again, we need at least 2 more midfielders along with Frankie de Jong as number 1, and I believe we need another midfielder number 2. So yeah. Yeah, man, it's a good thing, man. It's a good that we have Malacia, our first signing, and Christian Eriksen, our second signing. Frankie de Jong is looking to be our third signing. Yeah, man, we're making progress. Anthony Martial is in the goals. Our youngsters are getting some game time. which will improve their morale. So of course it's going to be their confidence and trust in the manager. Things are looking bright, man. I'm very positive. I'm looking to see a change in the Man United squad. Now, I'm going to be evaluating. I know this is I know some of you guys will cut this off right now, but I want to spend some time talking about where things went wrong. I'm going to be evaluating Manchester United's 2013-2014 season. Not in every detail, but I'm just going to evaluate what it felt like as a Man United fan and some of the games that that we lost. What was the vibe as if I was in the squad when it happened at the time? But I'm giving you an evaluation of what I think it felt like as players of that time. So it was 2013 in the summer. Alex Ferguson retired as Manchester United's manager. Now Manchester United knew that they had to get on their feet quickly because the Godfather has removed himself as manager of Manchester United, and they had to like fish for their own, so to speak. They can't be relying on Sir Alex Ferguson no more. He's gone. So they had to get a manager to replace him. Now this is where a lot of Manchester United fans feel Sir Alex Ferguson snaked us, ditched us, and probably put us in the bad position that we have been in since then, since 2013. So Alex Ferguson, given his high status as Manchester United's manager and the success that he's gotten, he was given the choice to choose the next manager for Manchester United. No person saw this as a sentimental choice, which in the grand scheme of things you could say is true. He chose David Moyes to be his replacement, and there were better options out there. Jose Mourinho was looking to leave Real Madrid. I believe some person may say that he got sacked from Real Madrid. I don't think he got sacked. I think he actually left, because I think he said he was coming back to England. And of course, Chelsea was in the mix and Manchester United was in the mix. But Alex Ferguson chose, of all people, David Moyes to replace his legacy at Manchester United. Now, some persons wonder why this choice was made. In my book, and in some Manchester United's book, he was chosen to be Manchester United's manager because maybe he didn't want to choose like a Pep Guardiola or a Jose Mourinho that would in time have a better legacy than Sir Alex Ferguson had at Manchester United. You see me? He didn't want to choose a highly credentialed manager to take over Manchester United to have a better legacy than him at Manchester United. So he picked an average manager that has had reasonable success. He's kept Everton up in the Premier League for over a decade. But he's not a world-class manager. He's not a world-class manager. He's not a above average manager. He's just an average manager. So he was brought to a club where he was just out of his depths. And, he got a community shield with the squad. Now, seeing that it was a transfer window, we were linked and we just won the Premier League. Of course, players want to join clubs that just freshly won trophies. So we were linked with the best of players. We were linked with Toni Kroos. We were linked with Thomas Muller. We were linked with Gareth Bale. Although Gareth Bale was also heavily linked with Real Madrid, which eventually became his home ground, his home. We were linked with Fabregas as well. We were linked with Cesc Fabregas. We were linked with Baines. We were linked with Fellaini. We were linked with Fellaini like later down in the transfer window. So it wasn't like it was in July and we were linked with Marwan Fellaini. No, that was a panic signing, which I might get to in a second. So despite all of these linkages, we didn't get any of those players. The player that we did get was Marwan Fellaini. And we had a couple of promotion players like Yanizai from the youth academy. But that was not the best. That was not the best of transfers. That was not the best of transfer seasons for Manchester United. So we started the season off with a Community Shield match against Wigan Athletic that surprisingly won the FA Cup against Man City, and Wigan Athletic got relegated. But we won against them with 2 Van Persie goals. It was good. 2 good goals from Van Persie. 2 good girls. But yeah, now the season started. Again, I'm not going to get into every specific game, but things were not very good. I should have mentioned this. Wayne Rooney was looking to leave Manchester United. I don't think a lot of persons realize that. Wayne Rooney wanted to leave Manchester United. Wayne Rooney wanted to leave Manchester. He basically, before the season finished with Sir Alex Ferguson, Rooney was not starting as much games. Rooney was not starting the last couple of games. I don't think he even played in the last game at Old Trafford. Wayne Rooney. I don't even think he was in the squad, Wayne Rooney. So he was like ditched out because he didn't sign or renew his contract. He wanted to get a fat, hefty contract. And without getting into specific gripes of details, he stayed at Manchester United. He signed a contract with his first professional manager, David Moyes, at Manchester United. And he's at Manchester United, but it was just not the same. Manchester United started this season poorly. They lost, again, I can't remember, man, it's a long time, but they lost a good amount of games in the first half of the season. We played against Liverpool in the FA Cup, not in the FA Cup, in the Capital One Cup, won against them. I think it was 2-1 with 2 goals from Chicharito. But it was not a good season, man. It was just not a good season. With Fellaini coming in, persons saw this signing as David Moyes' style of play, like going long, route one style, just hoofing the ball up to the big fellow up top. Like, it was just not, and that was the tone that set a lot of fans to hate Fellaini and to hate the player that was Fellaini, because persons saw this signing as the style of play to basically say that this is Manchester United right now, post Sir Alex Ferguson, is to hoof the ball from the centre back or from the keeper to Fellaini, whether he was playing as a defensive midfielder, which he was playing as a defensive midfielder, which was a big mistake. Fellaini does not have the feet to meet the criteria of a centre defensive midfielder. That is not Fellaini. Now, he's played there, but that's not Fellaini. Fellaini is a player that plays off the number 9. He plays as a number 10, even more so as a target man. That's where Marwan Fellaini plays. I tell you what, when Marwan Fellaini was playing against Manchester United in that 4-4 draw at Old Trafford, which was one of the crucial games that led us to lose the title to Manchester City in 2011-2012, Fellaini gave Rio Ferdinand and Vidic a lot of problems. We could not sustain his presence in the box. And he scored a goal. Chest it down, boof, volley goal. So that was where David Moyes made his mistake, because he was not playing Fellaini in the number 10 position. We had Kagawa, we had Rooney was playing as a number 10, Van Persie. He was getting goals, but he was very injury prone. And another thing that led to Van Persie not having a good season was that he was very disillusioned, Van Persie, with the fact that, Van Persie disillusioned, depressed with the fact that Sir Alex Ferguson was not staying at Manchester United. Again, Van Persie signed for Manchester United because he wanted to win trophies. He signed for Manchester United because he wanted to win trophies. And he did win a trophy in his first season, the Premier League. And he also won as the top scorer. But the fact that he was not remaining at Manchester United negatively infected his attitude. Just like when Mourinho left Chelsea, it affected Didier Drogba. Basically the same thing. When Jose Mourinho left Chelsea, that affected Didier Drogba, but it didn't stop him from being the great striker he was. But it negatively affected him. And with Van Persie, it affected him even worse. Van Persie was not the same Van Persie. That was where Van Persie started to decline drastically. Not only because of his injuries, but because of his mentality. He didn't want to play for David Moyes, and that was seen in a lot of games. There were rumors that were saying that he didn't want to play in some of the games. He even missed training. Van Persie, he didn't want to play for David Moyes. And one of our crucial players that season, again, I can't remember the season exactly, that's why I'm missing out some of the games. Hold on there. Januzaj was a bright spark that season. A lot of persons believe that, oh, we have the next Ryan Giggs. We have the next Ryan Giggs. He may not be from Wales, but you know, he's from Belgium, and he's going to be the talent that's going to replace Ryan Giggs. We have the next Ryan Giggs. We have the next Ryan Giggs. So this skinny youth from Belgium in the number 44, you know, he scored a couple of goals against. Against Sunderland. What was 2 good volleys, by the way, 2 good volleys. One left foot, one right foot. And person was saying, there's a player in that player. There's a player in that player. So he started to play more. And he was one of the best sparks. Along with Welbeck. Welbeck had a very good season as well. Let us not forget that. Because in the first game, he scored 2 goals. Danny Welbeck. That was against Swansea away from home. Yeah, I'm kind of remembering the games now. Yeah, man, Danny Welbeck had a good season. Some may say that was probably his best season at Manchester United, which ultimately led him to leave Manchester United because, you know, I guess he wanted to leave or something, but he went to Arsenal. And yeah, so that season, without getting anything, that's probably one of the worst seasons of any trophy contender that won the trophy the previous season to try and maintain it. Because see, a lot of persons may not believe this or notice this, but you see, when you win the trophy the first time, it's going to be a lot of pressure to maintain that trophy that you won last season. It's not going to be as easy because for a start, the opposition is going to be hipped on the game. They're going to get hipped on the game. They're going to notice certain how you play, and they're going to adapt to how you play. That's why certain managers get sacked, because they stick with a style of play that they believe that will be the ultimate style of play that certain teams can't adapt to. They can't catch up to it. But when certain sides catch up to it, there is no plan B. There is no other option to do. And you could say, luckily for Pep Guardiola has gotten away with it for a lot of years in the Premier League. Breaking down low blocks. Like, if you play, it's like you can't play. It's like if you try to play a high line against a Man City, particularly a prime Man City, you're going to get trashed. You're going to get trashed. You're going to get trashed. You can't be playing a high line against a prime Manchester City side with Pep Guardiola as manager. And even if you play as a low block, you ain't going to get no pressure. Number one, you're not going to get no possession of the ball. Number two, you're not even going to touch the ball for a start. You ain't going to touch the ball. Number three, you may try to mark the defender because they're going to try to pass their way through you. You're going to pass their way through you. So I'm saying all of this to say that as a trophy winner, as if I'm a manager, right? As if I've been a manager. But if you have won the Premier League for one season, and the next season you're trying to win it again, that's going to be difficult. And Manchester United found that out Also, with the fact that we had an aging squad, I should have mentioned that we had a lot of aging players, veterans that went through the war, as as Sir Alex Ferguson as their leading chief with a 5-star on the left side of his chest, but he retired. And Sir Alex Ferguson and seeing David Moyes taking over this aging squad with veterans like Rio Ferdinand, Vidic, Patrice Evra, Michael Carrick, Darren Fletcher, Wayne Rooney, Van Persie, them seeing this average manager take over Manchester United, they're saying, "But I'm not used to this. I'm not used to this. I'm not." They're not going to follow suit with what an average manager wants. They're not going to get the respect. And I guess that played into the part. That's why we failed to not only do well, but we failed miserably that season. Was because there was not a high enough respect for David Moyes at Manchester United, and rightly so, because he was not in a position to take over Manchester United. He was at Manchester United because of sentimental reason, because number one, he's Scottish, and so Alex Ferguson is Scottish. So I put him in the position of being manager for Manchester United, but he didn't have the CV or the credentials to be Manchester United's manager. He didn't have the credentials though. He didn't have the credentials, man. So one of the positives, no, let me see this. Yeah, one of the positives we take from that season was that we signed a prime 25-year-old Juan Mata in our January transfer window. That was a very good signing because we didn't have a lot of creative midfielders. Wayne Rooney was arguably our best attacker. Van Persie was falling off. I mean, he got goals, but we knew Van Persie was going a bit shaky. We signed Juan Mata. You understand? I was trying to do his thing on the left hand side of the midfield, on the wing. Daniel Welbeck was getting goals, but it wasn't a prime vintage Manchester United season. So with Juan Mata, that was a positive start of things to come, not only for that season, but of seasons to come, which proved to not be the case because Juan Mata was not played in his natural habitat position, which is the number 10. Instead, he would spend time on the right hand side of the midfield, which was not his MO. Another positive was that we went to the Champions League run of 16 and we were trailing 2 goals by Olympiacos away from home. Away from home, we were trailing 2 goals away to Olympiacos. And at home, Robin Van Persie scored a hat-trick to set the stage of saying, hey, although we're like in 6th or 7th place in the Premier League, we can actually go to higher heights in the Champions League. I know that Bayern Munich is still there, Real Madrid is still there, and a few other sides is there, but we can actually work our way to probably the semi-finals or the quarter-finals. And when Van Persie got that hat-trick, there was a good mood, but things, I think David Moyes was trying to prioritize the Champions League, which he was out of his depths because he used to be in the Champions League. So I don't know how he would work that out. But the thing is this, man. So yeah, we got Bayern Munich in the next round, which person felt that, okay, we have done our best, we have played our best, and now we're going to face Bayern Munich. Now we're going to get knocked out. And no, the thing is that when we played at home, we were trailing by, I don't remember, I think we trailed by a few goals. It was scored by Mandzukic and I think Bastian Schweinsteiger. I think Welbeck got a goal at Old Trafford. But at the Allianz Arena, Evra, what the hell was that? Evra with a missile from left back position, roof it into the net. So we got an away goal and persons thought that, yeah, we're gonna beat Bayern Munich like how we beat, Olympiacos at home. But the difference is that we're not at home this time. That was not the case. In a few seconds later, Aaron Robin go humiliate the goal scorer himself, Patrice Evra, and go score. And then Bayern got another goal, and that's where the cake started to crumble, and we got knocked out of the Champions League that we delusionally thought we were going to go high in, or probably to win. But going back to the Premier League, we lost. These are the two games that cemented the execution and the sacking of I know you guys are hearing noise, but excuse that. These are the two games that cemented. Well, he should have been sacked long ago. We knew that, David Moyes. But these were the two games that basically tell us, alright, okay, this brother needs to leave pronto. I mean, he should have been sacked long ago, but seeing that he's lost against these two sides, he should be cut loose right now. And that was our game against Liverpool at home and Manchester City at home. These were two humiliating games. Man City, with Yaya Toure was in the prime of his life that season. And he and Edin Dzeko with Nasri and Aguero, given that we had old legs, they cut us like a hot knife through butter. They had their way with us in the defense. And Dzeko got a great goal. I think he got 2 goals. Then Yaya Toure, with his power, just got a goal, just blasted. I think it was outside of the box. And he made it 3 goals, and we didn't even score on our own turf against our noisy neighbours. So that was one. That was again, given that we have lost a lot of games that season, that was one strike. And in that game alone against Man City at home, that was the second strike. The third strike, which was against Liverpool, I think it was in April of 2014. Liverpool had a great season. They were looking to win their first ever Premier League trophy. You see me? And they won against us. They won against us on our own turf. Steven Gerrard could have had a hat-trick like it was in 2011. He almost got a hat-trick against us in 2011 at Old Trafford as well. That's when he started to kiss the camera. He got a penalty in 2011 and same thing with 2014. That result basically told us that we had to cut ties with David Moyes. He was not the manager for us, and so was done. He was sacked. Ryan Giggs came into play as the acting boss, as manager. He was actually a player manager, so he was still a player, but he was the manager for Manchester United. Imagine substituting yourself and you're the manager, right? So yeah, in closing of this video podcast, that was the season that basically conditioned the Manchester United fans to think that we were no longer a top tier club. No, we were always a top tier club. It's just that we were a top tier club that was sleeping in a passive way. We were not winning trophies, we were not competing. We were signing good players, but those good players were not good for us. And that showed in the upcoming seasons, which I'm not going to really mention. But the takeaway from that season was that David Moyes was not supposed to be appointed as manager. That was a mistake. Second, the aging squad. We did not replace the aging players in our squad. Vidic was aging. Reverend was aging. Evra was aging. Carrick, Fletcher, Wayne Rooney was not. I mean, Rooney was our best player in 2013, 2014 based on goals and being our best attacker. But still, come on, man. Rooney was not the same Rooney as previous years. And I don't even think he wanted to even play for Manchester United. Passionately, he stayed at Manchester United because he was given a hefty contract. He didn't stay at Manchester United just for pure, genuine lust, or he just wanted to stay there because he genuinely loved the club. He loved the club, but he stayed there because of the hefty contract he was given. That's why I say, because Alex Ferguson wanted to sell Wayne Rooney, you know. That's one of the reasons why he signed Robin Van Persie, because he knew that Rooney was on a steep decline. But I'm going to leave that for another time. I'm going to leave that for another video podcast. But the takeaway, as I wrap up, the takeaway from that season was that season that season gave a lot of Manchester United a black eye, thinking that we could probably not find a manager as good as Sir Alex Ferguson to bring us to higher heights. Right now we have Erik Ten Hag as our manager. Right, he was not sanctioned by the hierarchy or as by Sir Alex Ferguson to take over Manchester United. He was sanctioned to be Manchester United's manager because of what he's done with Ajax. Let us be positive with this manager. It's going to take a time for us to adapt to what he wants. We have had players in this squad for a lot of years that are used to the conditioning ways of Mourinho, the conditioning ways of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So they're not going to be playing in the ultimate way Erik Ten Hag wants them to play in the first games. It's going to take a time and a half a time for them to be conditioned into the way Erik Ten Hag wants them to play. So we have to give them some time to basically, be good players in his system. Because a lot of players, man, I know that have been on a rampage for 46 minutes, but a lot of players have been spoiled. And that spoiled mentality made them entitled, gave them this sense of entitlement, like they had it made when they're basically average players that haven't done much to stay at the club, but they were given hefty contracts because they were not good enough and we didn't have an assertive manager to remove them. They were not working hard. They were basically on the temperature of comfortability. They were not working hard. And that's why they became lazy, spoiled brats, and entitled brats. But they were not working hard. I ain't gonna mention no names, but you guys know what I'm talking about. So, wrapping up this video. Recap. We won against Melbourne Victory, which we took the victory from Melbourne Victory, so they shouldn't be Melbourne Victory no more. They should be Melbourne, if not Melbourne Defeat. But another thing is that we signed Christian Eriksen, which is a positive because that basically put some sweet taste, so to speak, midfield. We have a good midfielder. He's not in, well, let's be honest, he's not the Christian Eriksen of old, although he's getting a bit old, but he's still, like I mentioned, a lot of talented midfielders, even when they're getting older, they can still have it. Like Juan Mata still has the brain of a footballer, but he had to leave because he was not getting much games, among other reasons. So with Eriksen at Manchester United, I am being positive that he's going to not be a legend for Manchester United, but he's going to have a good season for Manchester United. I believe that he's going to have a good season. He may not start every game, Christian Eriksen, but he's going to have a good season. Let us think positive, be optimistic. Yeah, we need a striker. We need a striker, and we need a couple of more midfielders. So that's your host for today. I'll show to you guys in the next video podcast. Like and subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments down below, and I'll show to you in the next video podcast. Peace. I'm out.